Yes, this is the last video that you will see on this topic. Praise the Lord that I am finally done with this. And yeah, enjoy it while you can, because it's over. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Katarina and welcome to my channel. So today I'll be finishing the Death Note cycle videos that I have been doing, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link down below the latest two videos that I did, excluding my August book haul, that are about Death Note, and yeah, I will leave them down below if you want to watch them. Particularly one of them. But you will see what I'm talking about. So, to finish this cycle, I decided to review the manga Death Note that I've been reading since the past week, like a marathon, a personal marathon of Death Note. And for those of you that don't know, there are two ways that you can read Death Note, excluding obviously reading online and stuff like that. I mean, with the real mangas. And I do believe that there will be a third way to read it, because I think that there is a preview for this huge as hell book that actually contains all of the 12 volumes in one, and it has this cover, and I do believe it's a hardcover. I don't know, but I think it hasn't come out yet. So tell me something down below if you know something about this, because obviously I don't. But as I was saying, you currently have two ways of reading the manga. Firstly, read the original manga, which is from volume 1 until volume 12. There's 12 original volumes of this manga, and then you have the way that I did it, which is with the Black Edition manga, which, by the way, let me just say, you will see them really shortly because I'm going to show them to you, but they're the most beautiful manga edition in the world. And this is just my opinion. If you disagree, it's totally fine, but I love this edition. And yeah, that manga comprises basically in each volume 2 of the volumes of the normal manga that came out, which means that you only have 6 volumes, but they're big as hell and they have 2 volumes inside. So that's that. I do believe it is more enjoyable because you can read a lot more than having to go and pick up the other one. And I don't know if this happens to you guys, but when I'm reading something, I do enjoy it to be big, because if it's like, I don't know, like a trilogy or something, if I had to go and pick up the next book, it's like, but maybe I won't start it today. I will start it tomorrow because I already read the first one. So, and it does depend a lot of the mood that I'm in, but normally I found it best to read particularly manga, because it has a lot of volumes. I find it best to read in bind-ups because it's helpful. As you can see there, I have a lot of Manga collections, for instance, and it's getting really hard to pick up the next because it's like, there's so many, and do I really want to continue reading this? Although with Death Note, for instance, obviously the enjoyability of the book, it's completely different, but because it was a bind-up, I was already reading 2 volumes without noticing, and I could pick up the next one. So that's that. So, firstly, presenting to you the Black Edition of Death Note. There are 6 books. Oh god. There are 6 books, each numbered, with the name of the authors and Death Note. And also, it says Black Edition in there. I don't know if you can see it. And the pages are all blacked, so it's really beautiful. And in the cover, you have some of the characters. And I'm just going to show you the first volume so that I don't spoil you, because this will be a non-spoiler manga review for the characters that will appear for the next books. So, this is the first volume. And this is our main character. And I will proceed now to give you a review of this manga. Let me just say that I do advise that if you are not able to read the manga, to watch the animation adaptation, the anime of Death Note. It has, I don't know for sure, but I do believe there's more than 40 episodes, or 40 or something like that. I don't know, it's something like that. So yeah, it's big, but they're only almost 20 minutes each, so it's not as big as a normal 20 episode series with 45 minutes. if you get what I'm saying. Or maybe I'm not doing the math right, and that is also a possibility. But as I was saying, if you don't have access to this, you can watch the animated show because it is very similar. I don't really believe that they changed a lot of plot points. Maybe they did change some dialogues to hurry it up a little bit, because the pacing of this, I will just start by saying, it's not very fast. Although it is not a problem because of the story, and I will resume and tell you the story. So basically, the only non-spoiler thing that I can say is that this is a story about a kid called Light Yagami. Well, not really a kid, because he's finishing high school and entering college when this starts. Basically, he's very, very bored because he's like a genius. He has the best grades of his school. He's getting ready to go to college and pass the entrance exams that you have to do in Japan. So he's pretty bored. He believes that the world is not as it is supposed to be. And one day he's looking through the window of his class and he finds a strange notebook in the ground. And he picks it up and takes him home and opens it and reads the first sentence that I do believe it is, any person's name written in this notebook will die. And he finds it very strange. But that's how he is introduced to the Death Note, which is supposed to be this note that belongs to a death god called Shinigami in the Japanese culture, that allows you to kill people by writing their names. And if you write their names and you don't specify anything, they die with a heart attack. But if you do specify how they die, they will die in the ways that you specified. And I can't really give you any more details because there's a process to understand the rules of the Death Note that will be explained throughout all of the mangas. So this is all that I can say. So Light decides to start using the Death Note to create the world that he believes is right, where criminals and wrongdoers are punished and the other people are let to live their lives in peace. And so he tries to become the god of this new world. And yeah, that is pretty much what I can say. But through the pacing, like I was saying in the beginning, the pacing is really slow. Why? Because you have a person that is using a Death Note to kill people, and he's trying to become this god of this new world. He's trying to create a world in his image, a world that he believes is perfect. So you have a lot of action. Yes, you have a lot of action, it is true, but you have a lot more dialogue that you usually have in a manga. For instance, if you ask me if I have read other mangas that have a lot of dialogue, I have, but not as much as Death Note. Death Note has a lot of dialogue, and I do remember, actually, I was talking with my boyfriend about this, and I said, I had no idea that this had so much dialogue, because in the animation that I watched first, before reading this, you have a lot of dialogue. Yes, you have a lot of morality discussions that you also have here, obviously, but it looks more fast-paced because you're watching the characters talking and you don't have to read every single bit of dialogue. So probably if I just do this, you'll see that there's a lot of dialogue, even if you can't see what it's about. You know, so yeah, it's not really a normal thing, but it happens. I have other mangas that have dialogue, but they're not so big and they don't have so much dialogue. So the idea for the Death Note manga, at least in my opinion, is that you have a discussion between moralities. You have a discussion between what people think it's correct or wrong, and you have a discussion of, and that is very present in this back cover, if Light will turn into the person that he's trying to fight against, the evil that he's trying to fight against. Why? Because he's technically killing people, although they're supposed to be the wrongdoers and the people that I don't like to say this, but that don't mean a lot into society, but he's doing it. So maybe he's a criminal too, you know? And this is a question that goes throughout the entire manga. And I really do appreciate it. Also, the art, that's an important thing to talk about when you're talking about a manga review, because obviously you don't have only written dialogue, you have a lot of drawings. And if you can see, you know, there's a lot of... The way that the characters are drawn is just really beautiful. I really adored it. And in the beginning of the black editions, you have a lot of colored pages. And this is the first page, so I'm not spoiling you. It's just so freaking beautiful that I can't even. The art is really realistic, and I really adore that. Although obviously it has some exaggerations that are normal to Japanese manga art. I mean, the eyes, for instance, and the expressions when someone is angry or when someone is evil are very accentuated, but the art itself is very realistic, although obviously you can't count the art for the death gods because that obviously is not realistic, but it's really great also, and I really adored it. And because it is a very violent and dark story in a way, because obviously you're dealing with morality, desires, and right and wrong, and that constant battle between, it's very blackish. Obviously, if you don't know, mangas are normally, pretty much all of them, presented in black and white, as you can see. So having the colored pages is a bonus if you want to buy this. But yeah, it's really dark in a way. You see that the shadows that they use and the paper drawing and all of the pen traces and everything are very dark, and I really appreciate that because for mood setting art, it's really, really good. So that's pretty much all that I have to say for a non-spoiler review of a Death Note manga. So if you really want to try and read it, if you think that this premise that I gave to you is an interesting one, then just go and try. I promise you that happens a lot in this manga. It's not a manga that will leave you bored, although you'll have a lot of dialogue to read and have a lot of morality discussions. It's not boring at all. You have a lot of police investigation because obviously if you have a person that is killing people, you will have to have an investigation, and that is where things get interesting. You'll have people try to know his identity because of course he's not going to announce himself like, yay, it's me, I'm killing people, obviously. You'll have people try to figure out who he is and how to apprehend him, and it will be really, really great. So I do encourage you or to watch the anime or to read this because it'll be great. It'll be a great experience. It's one of the most known manga series / anime series in the animation world. Pretty much almost everyone that actually is part of that culture, of the manga culture and anime culture, has read this or has watched this because it is really famous and it is really great and it deserves all of the praise. I love this. So that's it, guys. I hope you liked this video. If you like it, leave a like or subscribe. And if you've read that note or watched that note, please tell me what you think about it down below. And yeah, if you haven't, please tell me if you'll consider reading after this review, or if you will not consider, why are your reasons for that. And yeah, that is it, guys. So I hope you guys are all okay and happy readings to you all. Bye.